This is going to be an extra long weekend, living with the Rolling Stones, because I'm doing a third song of theirs. This one from a few years later, 1972. But Vlad has told me that if I am going to get at least a basic idea of the Rolling Stones, who they were in their music, and their versatility and sound, then I absolutely must include this along with the other two. So today I am listening to Angie. Of course, you can always check out Ko-fi and Patreon if you want early access to videos that I've made before their public release here on YouTube, as well as videos that will never be able to go on YouTube due to copyright issues. So there are always exclusive videos that only the members can access. You can always check that out. Let's see what this Angie is all about. Angie was recorded in November and December 1972 and is an acoustic guitar-driven ballad characterizing the end of a romance. Released as a single in August 1973, Angie went straight to the top of the US Billboard Hot 100 and reached number 5 on the UK singles chart. The song was also a number 1 hit in both Canada and Australia for 5 weeks each, and topped the charts in many countries throughout Europe and the rest of the world. Because of the song's length, some radio stations made edits to shorten it to 3 minutes, omitting the longer coda and the second instrumental section of the song. I guess I'll be listening to the longer version today. This is so different from the other two.
Angie, when will those clouds all disappear? Angie, where will it lead us from here? With no loving in our souls and no money in our coats, you can't say we're satisfied. Angie, you can't say we never tried. Angie, you're beautiful, yeah, but ain't it time we said goodbye? Angie, I still love you. Remember all those nights we cried, all the dreams we held so close seemed to all go up in smoke. Let me whisper in your ear,
That was beautiful. It's such a unique mix of comforting and painful and hurting and hopeful. Even these lines where he says, with no loving in our souls, and then just a couple lines later he says, I still love you, baby. It's a very grown-up, mature song. I guess if every breakup could end with somebody talking like this to the other, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? This idea that you want to comfort the other person. You hate to see that it hurts them. You recognize that it's time for things to end for whatever reason. It's not good for us to stay together. And yet you still care for each other. There's something incredibly beautiful, at the same time painful, about this song. And his voice is so expressive and adds to it. It conveys these feelings so beautifully, the way he lets it crack and break at points, and the way he carries the tune. It's really, really, I guess I want to say it's a special song. Let's go back through and I like that very first note. Just the single A. Bum. Almost like, well, you know, my father was a piano tuner. And orchestral instruments, pianos, most of the classical tradition in the modern era is anchored to a particular note, a particular pitch. And the thing that determines a note's pitch is the vibration frequency, the speed at which the sound waves vibrate. And so we have this A 440. Exactly 440 oscillations per second is the pitch to which a piano tuner tunes the entire instrument. A harpist tunes the entire instrument. And in an ensemble, there's always an A being played by some instrument, bum, to give the reference point for all the other instruments to tune so that everybody's in tune together. So when I hear this single A at the beginning, it's almost as if he's just testing the tuning of the instrument. Not the whole instrument, but he's just saying, all right, bum, that A's in tune, everything else is good. Okay, let's go. And then we go off on this very improvisatory style. I mean, we have an A minor chord, which is that. It shifts briefly to a C, but immediately back to A minor. And then it kind of oscillates between the two, and then it's as if we're shifting now to an E7. And we eventually find our way back to A minor. Of course, this is played by guitar, and so it suits the guitar best. But we can do something kind of what the guitar is doing on the harp. And you feel that the rhythms, the pulse is there. He's just anchoring on the pulse and using the chord transitions, but it's a very free opening, very natural, in the moment, spontaneous, improvisatory feeling. So we hear, We're on A440. All right. Nice bass here. Another bass. And it just flows out of the fingers. It's just absolutely lovely. And then, of course, I also like the way, we didn't get to this yet, but since I'm here at the harp, I'll say also, I like this little F chord, which he comes at it from a suspension. So it's, we've got a B flat. Those suspensions are always lovely. So we have, isn't it nice? Just some simple chords and easily.
Just play it again without interruption, please.
Okay, let's see what we can do. It's nice, it's gentle, it's sweet, it has a nice flow to it. And set in a minor key like this, it gives it a little bit of a melancholy, reflective mood from the start, which of course suits the topic of the song. And here comes the piano, and suddenly the voice.
Angie, when will those clouds all disappear? Angie,
Really like the way the piano and the guitar work together.
where will it lead us from here? With no loving in our souls and no money in our coats.
The way this drum enters is perfect. It's just in the moment. We've set the tone of sadness and yet appreciation for the beauty. And then suddenly we hear, with no lovin' in our souls, with no money in our coats. That's the moment at which the rhythm locks in with the drums and we start feeling a pulse that is steady, as if it's time to move on. Just like the song is talking about. It's time to move on. And this is the moment at which, okay, the decision has been made. It is time.
Angie, where will it lead us from here? With no loving in our souls and no money in our coats. You can't say we're satisfied, Angie.
Kind of love the way that he pulls everything out of the name Angie, as if, oh, it hurts to say it, but I gotta say it. And still he loves to say the name. This conflict of emotions within the song, and yet it's presented in such a gentle manner. Also, it's worth noticing the way the melody is constructed. The way he starts with just a few simple notes. really it's built around E here. Oops, we should get an... Let's make it red so it's more visible. It's built around E here. Angie, Angie. Then it steps down just a little bit more as if this realization of, or the time to say what we know internally. It's hard to do, and we just have to step a little bit down and a little bit down, and somehow we have to break this gently, as kindly as we can, because we care about the other person, and the notes are just stepping down a note, and then it waits here, it waits here. And then we settle a note lower. And then we're back on E. And then Angie. 3 little notes. And to C. E, D, C. That's all. Simple. Natural. We're not being dramatic about this. This is not a breakup with a lot of conflict and disagreement, quarrels. Neither is it something that is just emotionally, traumatically earth-shaking. I keep coming back to the word maturity. There is a kind of maturity in this approach, an honesty, and yet the way in which it is being presented and articulated here is a very mature approach to the end of a relationship.
Angie, you can't say we never tried. Angie, you're beautiful, yeah. But ain't it time we said goodbye? Angie,
But he
I
says,
still love you.
I still love you.
Remember all those nights we cried.
There's the acknowledgement of times together that weren't the best. As if saying, yes, I know this hurts. It hurts me, it hurts you. But it's not good for us to perpetuate the pain that exists in this relationship. Then remember all the nights we cried. All the dreams were held so close seemed to all go up in smoke.
The dreams we held so close seem to all go up in smoke. Let me whisper in your ear.
This is the other part that I wanted to point out melodically, is occasionally it steps above this E. And then we go, let me whisper. The idea is that a few choice moments where we break out of this 3-note parameters that are set, it's just enough to make us feel like we're rising above for a moment. We're looking out, we're looking above the haze, the sadness, and we're lifting our heads to find another option, another way, it's a sort of hopefulness for the future. Let me whisper in your ear. Let's find a way. We don't know where it will go. In fact, I think that's what comes next, right? Where will it lead us from here?
Let me whisper in your ear.
actually whispered into the mic, Angie. Well, it's not just a small whisper. Angie. It's going to get your attention. It's going to make sure that you hear Angie. I have to do this. Angie. And the strings. There's still a kind of intimacy in this relationship, even as they're breaking apart. This whispering in the ear. And then the strings that come in that moment kind of lend a softer edge to it. And then the question, whispered in her ear, where will it lead us from here? Still an openness between them. Kind of a bearing of one's soul, even as you're splitting apart.
Where will it lead us from here?
And this solo is a string solo. It gives it a more orchestral, both hauntingly sad and at the same time romantic feel. And you can't help but wonder, to think, as you hear the string singing that da 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 da. Where will it lead us from here? And it's almost like the strings are answering and saying, because they arrive more assertively. It's not quite such a question. Where will it lead us all from here? And then it rests there. Again, this contrast, don't you weep. Your kisses still taste sweet. And here come the strings again. Again, just breaking out a little bit.
I still love you, baby. Everywhere I look, I see your eyes. There ain't a woman that comes close to you.
You hear the bass underneath, filling it out now.
Baby, dry your eyes.
Becoming a bit more confident, kind of picking yourselves up off the ground.
Ain't it good to be alive?
Ain't it good to be alive?
Angie, you can't say we never tried.
This expression that struck me at the beginning and comes again now, with no loving in our souls. And then, I still love you, baby. This idea, is it possible to no longer have love between two people, no longer to be in love, and still to love the other? I think it is. It doesn't always happen that way, unfortunately. But this song, to me, is such a hopeful song, such an uplifting song in a way. Not in an artificial, superficial manner, but deeply, beneath it all. Ain't it good to be alive? It reminds me of that old proverb, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. It's good to be alive. And we go through painful, sad circumstances. We go through experiences where we come to the end of something. A relationship, be it a love relationship, a work relationship, a friendship, different relationships. And sometimes they have to end. Sometimes their time is simply over. Sometimes it's filled with animosity and pain and regret, but other times, if we can simply recognize when the time comes that it's time for it to be over, and have the maturity to accept it, and the grace to extend love and care towards the other, we can end on this hopeful note of, it's good to be alive. It was good to have that experience. It hurts right now, but I'm glad to have had it, and I wouldn't go back and change anything, except perhaps if I could change the fact that it was hurtful, that we ended up crying so much when we saw our dreams go up in smoke. But at least I can encourage you and say, look up, pick yourselves up. It's a good time to be alive, and I still love you, and all the beautiful experiences we had together, your kisses still taste sweet to me. To me, this is an incredibly beautiful song. I guess, well, I don't guess, I know. Of the three I've listened to this weekend, this is certainly on top. And I guess it will go on my playlist as well, because it does have a depth to it and a beauty to it, and the different layers of expression and thought and emotion. Well, there we had the Rolling Stones weekend, and I found a gem. I'll see you all next time.